Hello, this is SJ Talks and Light coming back at you with another video. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please, and thank you. You guys like my braids? If you haven't got a chance to get over to my community tab and check out my picture I put over there. Cute. Makes me look a lot younger. I want to clear up some misconceptions about the California, the LA fires. I want to clear up some misconceptions about that. I know you've got all you guys had to have heard if you're watching the news, or you're on your phones, or you're watching the news, or even if you're not watching the news, you're watching TV and something on news flash pops up. I know that you had to have heard some way or somehow about the LA fires, because they're really, really bad. They're really, really bad. The Pacific Palisades wiped out the whole neighborhood. The fires literally have wiped out that whole entire neighborhood. And they say that the fires are still going on. That they're still going on. I talked to a friend of mine. He moved up here to South Bend to care for his mother for a time, but then he moved back to California because he lived in LA for over 20 years. So he moved up here for a while to care for his mother, and then he just recently moved back. So he said that, I talked to him on the phone, and he said that it's a lot of smoke in the air. He said that it's bad because even though where he's at is in the city, they don't have any fires in the city. Where he's at in the city, in the middle of Los Angeles, in the city, there's no fire, but there's a lot of smoke. So he said there's a lot of smoke and everything in the air. So people got to wear masks and stuff like that. The air is really polluted down there. And it's, I love LA. I've been there 3 times, and that's my city. I say that I'm a California girl trapped in a Michigan girl's body. I'm a California girl trapped in a Michigan girl's body, or a California lady trapped in a Michigan lady's body. I'm a California girl at heart. I love California. I was watching it on the news, and I was like, June, you sure you want to live in California? It's like, because I was like, one day I would like to live down there, but I'm thinking about doing the, I love it down there. I love LA. I love it down there. This truck bagging up. Don't bag up into my stuff. Then watch what you're doing. Anywho, I love that city. I love it. I love the atmosphere. I love palm trees. I love the weather. I love everything about. The only thing I don't like is the traffic. I hate the traffic. I get major anxiety in traffic. I don't like the traffic. That's the only thing I don't like. But everything else about the city, I love it. I like Los Angeles. I like San Diego. I know I haven't been to San Diego yet. Santa Monica. I've been to Santa Monica. I've been to Long Beach, and Venice Beach. I love all of them. I love LA. I love all them outer areas. I just love the city. Beverly Hills is beautiful. I just love it. I just love California. I love it. But then I've been watching this stuff on the news and on YouTube, and with the fires and that, and I'm like, June, you sure you want to live in California? Well, what I want to do one day is do the snowbird thing, like spend leave in the wintertime, because Michigan is really, really, especially if you got any type of. I got back and leg issues, and so I get worse in the wintertime, and I think I have the seasonal depressional thing, and I get down in the dumps in the wintertime. And the wintertime, I don't do well in the winter, physically or mentally. I don't do well in the winter up here in Michigan. I just don't. I just do the best I can because this is where I live. But if I could one day leave in the winter and go to California in the wintertime and then come back in the summer, I don't have a problem with Michigan in the summer and even in the spring. But even early fall, it's okay. But that wintertime, I can't. I hate Michigan winters anymore. When I was a kid, I loved them, but I hate them now. I don't. I just don't. And it's hard when, like I said, when you got any type of arthritis or I got back and leg. Okay, everything hurts worse in the wintertime. Everything is hurting worse in the wintertime. Muscle spasms, everything is worse in the winter. So, if I could at some point, when I get my coin up, leave in the wintertime and go down there in the wintertime and then come back here, in the summer. In the summer, in spring, early fall, whatever like that. I don't have no problem with doing that. Dude, I do the snowbird thing, So I wouldn't have if I do something like that, I'm not going to have like a permanent residence down there. Most likely won't have a permanent residence down here. And I would still I would still keep, of course, hold on to my home up here. You know what I mean? So that's what I would like to do in the future, kind of do the snowbird thing, But, anywho, it's really bad. The fires are really, really bad down there. It's like I said, the Pacific Palisades, that particular neighborhood, the fires literally have wiped that whole entire neighborhood out. It has wiped that whole entire neighborhood out. If you've been keeping track and you've been watching, I've been watching a lot of it on YouTube. They've had fires down there before. Okay. It kind of happens every year. In California, but they say that this fire has been the worst of all the fires that they've had in the past. Even the news outlets are talking about it, and they're saying that it's throughout history. This fire of 2025 is the worst of all of them. I mean, maybe back in the olden days, they had a real bad one, but this one takes the case. They do kind of happen every year, but this one takes the case. I mean, this fire has literally wiped out a whole entire neighborhood. The Pacific Palisades and some other areas, it has literally wiped out the whole entire neighborhood. It didn't just take out houses, it's taken out businesses, strip malls, and things that you would have in a community. Stores, strip malls, things that you restaurants and stuff like that, things that you would have in a community. It's literally wiped everything out. It's wiped out all the businesses, everything. I mean, they really going to need some help from the government at this point, because it has literally, these fires have literally, and I looked on YouTube, because that's where I get a lot of my coverage, because I don't have cable, so that's where I get a lot of my coverage. And I've seen people out there with their fire or with their water hoses, and they're trying to hose down their yards and everything like that. And I'm like, y'all need to get out of here. You guys need to get out of there. I'm panicking for them. I'm like, y'all need to get out of there. And the problem was there was no water. They didn't have any water down there. And they would go to hook up the firemen would go to hook up the hose and turn on the water, and wouldn't hardly nothing come out. So everybody trying to figure out why ain't no water. Well, California does have a water shortage. And I think a lot of that has to do with the droughts, because California, it really doesn't rain in California much. That's where you get your water. It doesn't really rain in California that much, and they get a lot of droughts. And that's a lot of the reasons why they get these fires, because it's a lot of because of the fact that it doesn't rain much down there. The earth is everything is dry. Everything is really, really dry. And so that's one of the reasons why they do have a lot of issues with fires there, because California, LA, in that whole area, in the outer areas, it doesn't rain much. Every now and then they might get some rain, but it doesn't rain. Their weather is very consistent. It doesn't rain. And so the 3 times that I went down there, the weather was just about the same. And I know one time in 2011, me and my sons went down there, and I went down there in June, and they have a thing where they call it June gloom, and they call it June gloom, and where it's the smog and whatever, it kind of gives it a cloudy appearance. But that was the most I've seen. Like, the weather was pretty consistent every time I went down there. The weather was really, really consistent. So the weather was very consistent, and it never really rains down there. So that's part of the reason why they get the fires in that. And California does have a shortage of water, and so at a time when they need water the most, they couldn't hardly get it. You know, they had the planes, the water's coming out, the water flying over and dumping water, the planes flying around dumping water on things and everything like that. But it's a lot of people had to evacuate. They had to leave their homes, and they had to evacuate. But I want to clear up a big misconception. People are saying that, oh, well, those people, specifically in the Pacific Palisades area, people are saying, oh, those people are rich down there. Those people are millionaires down there. People are not really caring about what's a lot of people. I'm not going to say everybody, but a lot of people are just reading the blogs and stuff like that, and people are saying, well, those people were rich down there, and you know, they can rebuild, and you know, they're millionaires and everything, and they can rebuild. And so people are not, and some people are just being downright mean. They're just being downright mean, and they're saying things like, you know, trying to say you know, because I don't know why people hate on rich people so much. I mean, like, first of all, that's everybody that lived in that neighborhood was not multi-millionaires. That's one of the misconceptions I want to clear up. And that's another thing. Why do people hate on the rich? Why do people hate on rich folk? Most people that are rich, unless you was a criminal or something and you came by your money the wrong way, most people that are rich, they did something to get to that place. They worked really, really hard to get to that place to where they could have millions of dollars. Okay, most people. We're not talking about criminals and people that's not doing the right things. We're talking about rich people that legally and legitimately worked really, really hard to where they got to a certain place in life to where they are a millionaire. Most of those people worked really hard to get to where they're at. Okay? But the biggest misconception that everybody that lived in that area were multi-millionaires. No, that is not true. I've been looking at some of the stories. They've been interviewing people, and I've been looking at some of the stories. And this one man I think he came to United States years ago, and he I was looking at this YouTuber by the name of Ahmad. What is his name? His name is Ahmad something. He's a YouTuber. What he does is he critiques. I watch a lot of real estate videos. I watch a lot of home tours and stuff like that. Home tour videos and things like that. That's just my thing. I love real estate, and I watch a lot of home tours and stuff like that. And so what he does on his channel is they'll do a home tour. Some of the big real estate brokers in LA will do a home tour on YouTube, and what he'll do is he'll do a video he'll go back and do a video critiquing that home tour and point out the flaws and stuff in the home. So I kind of got hooked on his channel. And Ahmad, I keep thinking of his last name right now, but I subscribe. I watch his channel on a regular basis. That's what he does. He critiques the tours. Some of the biggest real estate brokers in LA. They do videos, and what he does is he basically goes back and he critiques them. And points out the flaws in the property and everything like that. And I put my little 2 cents in too. Anyway, he did a video, and he was taking one of his family members driving. He said one of his family members lived up through there, and he was driving one of his family members through the area, and his aunt or somebody had a car. Of course, she was very upset, and he said that his family, because I'm not sure what nationality he is, but he said his uncle and his aunt, they came to the United States years ago, and they started businesses. He was talking about how they started businesses, and they just kind of worked their way up. He said they were, what type of businesses he said they were? Then I want to say dentistry. Don't quote me. But he said they literally came to this country, and they really started from the bottom, and they really worked really hard and worked their way up to a certain level in life, to where, okay, now they can afford to buy a house in this area of the city. Okay, so you have a lot of people that just really they started on the bottom. They just worked their way up to a certain level, to where they were able to afford to move to the Pacific Palisades, that particular area of the city. Everybody that live up in that area are not multi-millionaires and billionaires. Because they have some videos where people are doing driving videos, and they're driving through this neighborhood before the fires. And you can kind of get a glimpse of what the neighborhood looked like before the fires. And they're just modest. A lot of that areas, they have modest homes. Now, you do got some millionaires up in there. Yeah. But then you also have this regular people that worked really hard. They started on the bottom. They worked really hard to get to a certain level. Okay, now I can afford a home in this neighborhood. And now their home is gone. Imagine you worked all your life for a house, and then your house goes up in smoke. And that's the situation for a lot of these people. And a lot of celebrities lost homes too. A lot of celebrities. Now, we all know the industry is up and down, And a lot of people that work in the industry aren't millionaires. They do all right, but they're not millionaires. I think they said Dion Cole that played on Blackish, I think he lost his home. If you watch The Young and the Restless, Victor, the guy that plays Eric Braeden, the guy that plays Victor Newman, I watched The Young and the Restless with my mom. He lost his home. They interviewed him. He lost his home that he lived in for many years. He lived in for, now he do all right. He do all right, but he ain't no mega millions. He ain't got mega millions, but he do all right. He got a steady job. Work on a soap that he been working on for years. He do all right, but he been living in this house for years, and now all of a sudden now it's gone. So you got a lot of people. Now he came to this country too. I forget where he from, and he also started from the bottom, and he worked his way up. Eric Braeden is not his real name; it's some type of other name if you Google him. But he also started on the bottom, because he been on the Young and the Restless ever since I was a kid back in the 70s. So he also started from the bottom and worked his way up, okay, in the industry, because he was on some other things too. So you got a lot of people that started from the bottom, and they worked their way up to get to a certain level. So okay, now they can afford a home in this area, and it's going to be a struggle for them to rebuild. I wouldn't recommend that they rebuild in that area. It's a fire hazard. I wouldn't recommend that they rebuild in that area, but some people are probably going to rebuild in the area. I wouldn't recommend that they would. They do. I wouldn't buy a house in that area if I had the money. I wouldn't buy a house in that area, but and that's what I just don't understand why people want to hate on the rich. A lot of those people, they worked really, really hard to get to a certain place in life. And to just say that, well, they can rebuild, that's no problem. They can, no. It is a problem. This is their life. This is their life. I've been in my house for over 20 years. I can relate. Okay? A house is more than just a material thing. It's more than just a material thing. If you've been in a house for so many years, it's more than just a material thing. It becomes sentimental value. It becomes a part of your family. Yet that house becomes sentimental value. It's not just a pile of bricks or a pile of wood. It's shelter. It's shelter, but it's also sentimental value. I've been in my house over 20 years. My house it provides shelter for me, but it's also sentimental value. I moved into that house when my son was 18 months old. My youngest son was 18 months old when I moved into that house. So I have a lot of memories in that house over the years. I have accumulated a lot of memories in my house. So I can't imagine somebody coming and saying, you need to evacuate and you need to leave your house because you have a disaster coming, and you have to at that point make a decision, either stay or get burned up or whatever, or go. And ultimately, at the end, you got to choose your life, because ultimately, at the end, your life is more important than a house, So, I mean, some people chose to stay and try to fight the fire out, and they didn't survive. But, I mean, those of you out there that are looking at this video, and you have a house, and you've been in your house for a number of years, you know that it's not just shelter. It's not just, it's just shelter, it's a roof over your head, but it also holds a certain amount of sentimental value. Because over the years, you've accumulated a lot of memories in this house. And so just imagine they coming to you telling you, okay, you got to leave your house because, that there's a natural disaster coming. And so that's when you have to make the decision that, okay, well, ultimately, your life is more important, because ultimately, at the end of the day, can you get another house? Yeah. But then you're leaving a house that you spent all these years in, and you've accumulated so many memories. And sometimes, in some cases, people didn't have time to get important documents, pictures. That's what I would be trying to think about getting, is my pictures and things like that. Everything else I can replace it, but my pictures, important documents, people in some cases, people didn't have time to get all that. They didn't have time to get all that. Think about that. And so that's what I'm saying. People are being insensitive. I just think that people are being insensitive, and they're saying, oh, those people are multimillionaires, they can rebuild. It's not that simple. Life is never that simple. It is not that simple. They can't rebuild memories and all the memories and things that they've accumulated in this house. They can't rebuild that. Would they get another house eventually? Yeah, probably. But yeah. And so a house is more than just, if you spent a number of years in a house, it's more than just a roof over your head. You've accumulated a lot of memories in that home. And so this is what people lost. You got people that had precious family heirlooms and things like that. Things that cannot be replaced. Pictures and everything like that. Things that cannot be replaced. They're gone. And I just think that nowadays, people don't have a sense of humanity. People don't have a sense of humanity. And, they hate on poor people get hated on. They hate on poor folks. So rich folks get hated on too. Well, or people at a certain income level, even if they're not millionaires, at a certain income level, was able to afford a house in that area. It's not as simple as, oh, they can pick up and rebuild. Did you know that I heard that insurance was dropping a lot of people? So some of those people may not even have insurance coverage at this point. So it's going to be very, very difficult. And they're going to have to get government funding because they've lost these fires have wiped out all the businesses and stuff. So I just think that we need to learn to have more humanity and think about our fellow men. And if you don't have the money to donate or whatever like that, prayers. Pray for them. I've been praying for them and everything like that. You wake up one day, you got a house. One day you got a house. The next thing you know, you wake up, you got to evacuate. Your house is gone. That's devastating. People are going back and looking at their house and just seeing nothing but a chimney sitting there. It's emotional. People say, well, at least you got your life. Yes, absolutely. If you got your life, you and your family was able to get out of there, you got your life. But think of how many memories and years that they've accumulated in this home. They interviewed one black guy, and he was talking about all the memories and stuff that they accumulated in their home, and it's gone. So a house is shelter. It's a roof over your head. But if you spent a number of years in your house, it's more than just shelter. I know mine's is. I've been in my house over 20 years. My son was 18. My youngest son was 18 months old when I moved into my house. So there's a lot of memories there. And I couldn't imagine somebody coming to me one day and saying, you got to evacuate. If you stay, your life is in danger. So, ultimately, I got to choose my life over my house. I just got to hurry up and grab some stuff and leave, and then take a chance of coming back and my house being gone. Because we get tornadoes up here in Michigan. Of course, we're in tornado, there was a time, this past May, we got a tornado, and thank God it didn't hit my city, but the other city next to my city got hit. The outer areas of that city got hit. And so we get tornadoes up here. Now, they don't recommend that you evacuate. We have basements up here in Michigan, and they recommend that you go into the lowest room of the house, which is typically a basement. And if you don't have a basement, you need to go into the bathroom in your tub or in a closet. They recommend you either go in a bathroom and get in the tub, or they recommend that you go in a closet if you do not have a basement. Here in Michigan, they don't recommend that you evacuate, because if you try to evacuate, you can get swept up in the tornado, obviously. So the safest place for you to be is in your house, in the lowest room of the house, which is typically the basement. Most houses up here in Michigan do have basements, but if you don't have a basement, they recommend that you go to a closet or in your bathroom. And there were some areas in the other city that did get hit pretty bad. By the grace of God, we didn't get hit up here. Thank God. But just imagine, there were some people that did get their house destroyed. And then one day they got a house, and then they look up the next day, they don't have a house because the tornado wiped it out. Last year was a terrible year for tornadoes. We had lots of tornadoes going throughout the whole country. And we had a close call up here in my city. It was a terrible year for storms last year. If you really notice, it was a terrible year for storms and tornadoes and stuff like that. So we got a lot of tornado warnings last spring, and everything like that. So thank God, but you never know. It can happen to any one of us. And that's another thing. While you're sitting up there hating on rich folks, that can happen to any one of us. It can happen to any one of us. You can look up one day you got a house, next day you don't have a house. That's why people need to stop saying those things, because it can happen. It can literally happen to anybody. And then they think this is a whole other They think it's Bible prophecy, but that can happen anywhere. Natural disasters. We're in a tornado zone up here. Severe thunderstorm, stuff like that. Ice storms. We have those things in Michigan. It don't matter where you live in the United States. You could possibly be subjected to some type of natural disaster. And it could happen to you. If you're sitting around thinking that it can't happen to you, it can. It will. It can happen to you. So why everybody's sitting up there saying, oh, they're rich and, everybody's sitting up there talking that mess, you might look up one day and you might be in that same situation. So watch your mouth. Watch your mouth about bumping your gums. You need to be praying. We need to be praying for these people. If you can donate, if you can, go ahead. But if you can't, we need to be praying for them. And stop hating on rich people. Stop hating on poor people. Because they hate on poor folks too. Stop hating on rich people. A lot of those people work hard to get to where they're at. That money, to them to get to that level in life, did not come easy. Did not come easy. It came as a result of a lot of hard work. And people need to understand that. They didn't just snap their fingers and one day they had millions of dollars. No, a lot of those people that live in that area started from the bottom and they worked their way up. And it was a lot of years of hard work to get to a certain level to where they could live in this neighborhood. So don't do that. Don't hate. Don't hate. Stop hating on them. I just wanted to clear up that misconception. I've just been reading some of the blogs, and some people are saying some horrible things. And a lot of people are hating on them because they live in California, because of the fact that these people live in California. You live up there in the mountains and all this kind of stuff. Come on, really? Seriously? Seriously? You hating on these people because they... Come on now. Is that loving? Would Jesus do that? People don't have a sense of humanity anymore, and it's really sad. And this Bible prophecy is being fulfilled, and it's getting worse and worse. My heart and prayers go out to all those people that lost their homes, because one day you might look up and it could be you, and you wouldn't want nobody saying that you somehow deserved it. You deserve this because, I don't know, because of the fact that you even have a house. Really? It's not loving. And it's mean and it's evil. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. It's kind of bothering me. And yeah, we need to pray for those people. We need to pray for them. My heart and prayers go out to everybody that lost a home, that's affected by these terrible fires, and I pray and hope that they can get it under control. Yeah, it's terrible. It's horrible. Anywho, let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are. Let me know what your thoughts are, and if you've seen the coverage and everything. Especially if you're from the California area, if you're from that area, if you lived in that area, I definitely want to hear from you. What your thoughts are. If you visited that area, if you've ever visited California or whatever, I love it. I love that place. I love California. That's my city. I told you I'm a California lady trapped in a Michigan lady's body. So I love it down there. I really do. I can't even lie. I can't even front. I love it down there. Once my friend gets settled, I will be back down there to visit. Once he got to get settled. He's not settled yet. But once he gets settled, then yeah, I will be down there. I'll definitely be going down there. And so at some point, I'm gonna consider the snowbird thing. At some point, once I gotta get my coins up, we gonna hook a crook, a sister gonna make it happen. A sister gotta start getting out of Michigan in the wintertime. You know, a sister got to get out of here in the wintertime. A sister got to get out of. A sister can't take too many more of these winters up here. So we gonna figure out something. By the grace of God, we gonna, you know, God willing, we gonna figure out something. But anyway, hit me in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are on that, and everything. And hit that like, and get that. I need that algorithm to shoot up. Hit that like button, that subscribe, but really hit that like button. If you don't hit the subscribe button, hit that like button. Okay, at this point, my views are more important than my subscribers, because I'm about to get monetized. So I need you to hit that like button and shoot that algorithm right up there. All right, until the next video, you guys be blessed and be safe out there.